We're coming live from Houston with Vanessa Verdugo and live from Dubai with Dave Crane. You are watching the Toilet Paper Diary.
Yeah,
How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Wonderful. We just spent the whole day cleaning, and Friday in the UAE is like a Sunday and everywhere else. And my wife declared that we would be doing cleaning stuff. So from top to bottom, everything got swept. Of course, we've got two big dogs that live in the house right now. So as a result of that, we've just been everywhere cleaning it all. So we finished around about 3-4 o'clock, ordered some pizza in, and then I hid in case you mentioned the word ironing. So I'm sticking to it, and that's where I'm going to be for the next 24 hours, hiding as well, if I can do that. How was your day?
That's great. Well, I am just really getting started because, I mean, normally every morning, as soon as I wake up now, after you have set the challenge, I go and take the dog for a walk and I just get everything ready. And then I start getting ready for the show. We start really putting all the material that we have been getting for the show together. And possibly people don't even realize the amount of work that you and I invest in doing this show. I mean, we do some research, we collect stuff, we say, well, we are feeling really like editorials, and I think
this is a newsroom. It's a full-on magazine show with a newsroom built into it. So we've got like reporters all around the world. We've got to compile videos, stories, and it's all just done by two people naturally because we're the only two people who care enough about it. So it's a lot of work, but I found it rewarding so far. I'm sure it's the same for you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
No, it is absolutely fantastic, and I think the awareness that we are now starting to create in the communities and whatever is very interesting. Today, I woke up to really weird news, which I don't really know how to describe them. And as I was mentioning a little bit earlier, the president of Mexico just announced in a press conference that he had the solution for the coronavirus. Now, I'm serious about this. This is not a joke. And he came up with these little, they're like religious stamps or religious, they're called in Spanish, they're called escapularios, which are, when you have like a religious image that you wear hanging from your chest, that basically those are going to be the solution for the coronavirus. That's how you're going to be protecting yourself. So I honestly have no idea how to interpret those news. I mean, I tell you, this world is going crazier by the second.
So instead of getting ventilators, because Mexico's only got about 2,000 ventilators, and instead of actually doing a proper lockdown, that's the plan. Get everyone to wear little symbols, and the coronavirus will go, oh, fair enough, leave you there, not going to do anything. I think
that's absolutely correct. What do you think of that?
I think it'll all come full circle. I mean, we're trying to avoid all the conspiracy theories. We don't like pointing fingers at people, especially politicians, for lots of reasons about the things that are going on, because it will all come out in the wash, or maybe it won't all come out in the wash. But I really do have an issue with anybody. I mean, if you want to blame another country or say this came from here and those guys have lied to us, do that. That's part of your political shtick. But don't leave your people unaware of the dangers that they're in, because all you're doing is guaranteeing death. And the people who are cheering, because nobody wants to be locked down. I've been inside now for about 3 weeks. I took my dogs out for a very quick walk of about 5 minutes around the block this morning for the first time in a week. And it's not nice. The reason I did it is because I want to make sure that I don't pass anything on to anybody else. I'm seen to be staying inside. And also, I don't catch anything from anybody else. And it's a collective belief system that we will be able to beat this. And the thing is, this is what's so strange about it, Ernesto. We should all expect to get it at some point until there is a vaccine. But when you get it later on, because of the fact that you've stayed indoors, there will be a way that the hospitals can cope with the numbers. That's the whole point. You're expected to get it. And the hospitals can bring you in and deal with it. The reason we're inside is to lower the numbers so we don't have that massive spike where they haven't got enough beds or equipment. So all that people are doing, like in Mexico, is just guaranteeing that spike will be unbelievable and people will disappear and die on their own. And it's just horrible to think about.
Yeah, it's weird. In fact, let me just, I would like to show these two slides. Well, first of all, I want to show this slide, which is Track Corona. This is a website that you can go see. It's called Track Corona, and you can see all those red spots. That's where it's really, really very bad right now. Mexico, it's not bad, but of course, I mean, there's several places where it is bad. But I mean, what happens is that it's just basically like a wave. So, for example, Germany possibly 3 weeks ago was like Mexico was right now. And it's very interesting to see how it is actually evolving. We just passed the 1 million infected person in the world. So there's 1,044,809, and this was interesting because yesterday when I actually checked on this, there was a little bit over 900,000. So that means that we went 100,000 more infected in one day. Now, what is interesting to see here is just basically it is in 197 countries. The fatality rate is not that big, 5.29. But if we take away 5.29 out of the entire population of the world, the numbers are huge. It is something unprecedented. I mean, I was watching a documentary about the Spanish flu in 1818. And even though in those days there were no planes and there were no, the fast transport possibilities, it basically almost killed 10% of the population, and it is just insane. I mean, this is something why we need to be very aware and actually take this very, very seriously.
Well, one of the things you have to look at, especially when you see that chart on the left, that's got the heat spots of where it's been most active. This is all based on numbers that are reported. There's a lot of countries that may be lying, a lot of countries where they haven't tested enough, a lot of places where people are walking around with that 2 weeks of infection and aren't doing enough to lock themselves in and isolate. And so they're busy spreading it day by day. And that hasn't shown up in this chart yet. But what the sad and brutal truth is, we will know what it is in a year's time from now. And there will be many thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people who will pass for no reason, apart from the fact the truth wasn't told earlier and the decision makers in charge didn't do enough to stop it by just being better connected to each other and more honest to each other and playing games of it's not our problem, which is what we're seeing with finger pointing now. And I say I don't like to get involved in politics. So I won't mention anybody in particular, but it is a real mess that shouldn't be here because it's happened so many times before. And Ebola's worse. Ebola could have been a lot worse, but they stopped it. They took action and stopped it. SARS and MERS, again, they stopped it. Somehow this one got through the fence and hit everybody, and the whole world is on lockdown as a result. And Bill Gates talked about this 5 years ago on that TED Talk and said, this is the one that's going to bite everybody if we don't deal with it, and nobody dealt with it.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we actually decided to call this episode Trends, Fads, and, the lighter side of the pandemic. And right now, we have only been talking, and of course, all the news. We just want to give them to you exactly as they are, no better, no worse.
Yeah.
And right now, I think it will be a perfect time to show. I'm just going to show a part of it because it's a video that lasts about 5 minutes. But it just shows the incredible spirit of the human race. It is just absolutely beautiful. And it reminds me, what we have been living for the past 3 weeks. So have a look. Yeah. I think it's amazing. I mean, if we see all the different little videos and little clips that they're including there, I mean, in 3 weeks, the people singing in their balconies, the different videos of the music, people making music, the doctors dancing. I mean, it's just crazy. It's been only 3 weeks, and it feels like an entire lifetime. And this video just makes it so vivid and so clear. It's absolutely beautiful. We can see the entire thing, of course, playing with the music of Ode to Joy, and then afterwards it also has the Imagine from John Lennon. So it is an absolutely beautiful video.
I mean, one of the things that's so fascinating about this, as we talk about the lighter side of a lockdown, and I get all depressed about it, is the fact that social media has given us the opportunity to be more connected, to share ideas, to share stories, to share fads and trends. And that's a lifeline to people to be able to communicate through it and also have a lot of fun. And like I mentioned earlier, people do incredibly crazy things when left alone with access to the internet, and we'll be going through some of them a little bit later on in the show.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, it is actually really crazy. Let me just go and show you some of the crazy stuff that people are actually doing in online. I mean, the internet is completely flooded with these kind of videos right now, and we can see how crazy it is.
I just go ahead and like.
I mean, I think it's amazing. Look at that. The accuracy of what they are doing is just great.
And the hairdryer, it's brilliant. Amazing.
Unbelievable.
So cool. So cool.
And he actually makes it to the hole, which is just absolutely amazing. Now, another really funny trend happening on the internet is especially with videos, what people are doing. Look at all these videos with pets. I think also pets, and it will be also possibly interesting to see and to do an episode of pets in quarantine. Let me just show you this craziness. This is just absolutely amazing. Have a look.
You would not believe you.
Where do you get the helium balloons from to do that? Who had them? Who had the costume for their dog and the helium balloons in a spare room just in case we get in a lockdown?
This one is very sweet.
If you look at the dog's face on the previous one, the dog doesn't seem at all bothered. It's like, yeah, again. Whatever.
Okay, here we go again. Yeah. Sweet, huh?
Love it. Yeah, that's. Well, I've got 2 dogs, and they just go, yeah, whatever. They're not bothered. Don't get me wrong, I don't kiss them, but I mean, they're just chilled out with everything. Pets are fantastic, really, really good, fantastic.
My daughter Nina always tells me that, and this is really her favorite picture. Everyone in their online classes now, and she says that whenever she's doing the Zoom videos, that's exactly how all the kids look. So I think it's also very, very funny.
That's so true.
By the way, do you know that there's also another trend going on right now online, which is called Zoom bombing? And yesterday I was watching this piece on the news about this poor guy somewhere here in the States. He was the first person to actually graduate from his entire family. He came from a very poor family, and he was about to get his dissertation for getting his diploma. And because, of course, they cannot do it outside in the normal classroom or in the normal place, he was doing it on Zoom. And there was this guy that sneaked into the dissertation. There were about 40 people in the Zoom call. And then suddenly he started showing his penis in the freaking camera. I mean, it's just insane. And apparently these kind of things are also a thing right now. And we also need to be aware of these kind of predators, which are Zoom bombing the classrooms of all the kids. So it's just really, really weird.
That's really scary. I remember reading an article about the safety from hackers of Zoom, because right now Zoom have gone through 50 million downloads in the last 3 weeks, and they're saying that there is a problem with people bombing it, and there's a problem with the security, because all the government agencies have started using Zoom as their go-to service for carry-on meetings. And they're saying that some organizations, of course, have their own internal private systems set up to look after it, but some are using Zoom, and they're saying it might not be as secure as it needs to be. So I think what you said there is very, very important. Mums and dads and kids who are paying attention, please be very aware of the fact that people can jump in. I don't know how they've managed to get the details of it. I mean, because it tends to be a private meeting that you can't normally jump into. How would they get that?
Well, I guess someone shares it with them. So that's just something that we really need to get into. I mean, we really need to see on it, because, I mean, sometimes, you know, if it is with so many people, it's only one link. And if you actually have just that link shared, then that's enough to go into the meeting, and crashing those meetings and Zoom bombing is just absolutely a horrendous thing.
So one of the things about it is in normal world, I mean, I remember certainly the UE were very hot on it. If anybody abuses anybody else on Facebook, or even shows, if you're driving along and somebody drives in front of you and is driving dangerously, and you take a video of them driving dangerously and put that online with their details on, then you can get into trouble, because you have not got permission. Even if they've been out in the wrong, you've not got permission to show them on social media. Same as if you take a photo in public and it's got other people in it, you've not got permission to show the photo without them saying that they don't mind being in it. So I would imagine that with this Zoom bombing, there will be legislation that comes around that does grab people at some point, especially by the you-know-what, if they do that, because it is prosecutable, and there must be a way of, obviously, facing who it was, but a way of facing whose access was given to find out where it all came from. But I think it will come to be a thing where people do get prosecuted, and I hope so too, because in these kind of times, you need to protect each other and have certain rules of how things are done properly, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, it's really weird. I also want to show the picture of this lady, and you can tell us a little bit about it, because I just find it hilarious. I mean, it has a whole video. But I mean, just the picture can give you an idea of the craziness that we're actually living outside.
This lady got her own special bubble where she went into a supermarket with somebody going with her. And the idea was, with the bubble, you can't get anywhere near her, you can't touch her. She wasn't wearing gloves herself or a mask, but she was walking around the shopping supermarket, getting all the stuff that she wanted. Now, she couldn't touch it. What she could do in this bubble is point out, and that guy next to her was carrying a shopping basket, I think it's him, and he was getting stuff off the shelves as directed by her. Now, it kind of seems funny, and it was funny, and it kind of seems like a novel way of not being infected. But the only thing is that is bad about it. Of course, you've got a shopping mall full of scared people who feel like that when they go out shopping anyway. So there's massive queues and delays. So after about 2 or 3 minutes in the shop, the staff said, "Could you please leave?" And she said, "I've got the same right to shop as everybody else." And they said, "Well, yes, come back anytime you want, but not in that." And so she was made to leave after about 5 or so minutes with good reason. But she only left after she pointed out a few more items that she wanted the guy to put in his basket. But he wasn't wearing a mask and he wasn't wearing gloves. So quite clearly they thought they were okay. Well, maybe she was. But it's kind of funny to see what's going to come next. We have no idea how bonkers this whole idea will go next, but it will do. Something will top that for the next couple of days.
Oh, yeah. This is really getting crazy. Right now, we are getting a signal that Christian Farioli is ready, reporting live all the way from Jumeirah Beach in Dubai. So let me bring Christian in.
Thank you, Dave, and thank you, Ernesto. I am here in Dubai Marina, more precisely in Jumeirah Beach Residence. As you can see, guys, everything has been closed. This is a kind of open shopping mall at open air and has been completely shut down to avoid people going around. But we are not yet in the same level of lockdown that there is in Italy, for example. There, it's absolutely no way out anytime. We're here in Dubai, it's only at 8 o'clock in the evening until 6 o'clock in the morning, where people need to stay home because there are also drones going around spraying disinfectants into the locations. So what I'm gonna do during the day, I spend most of my time obviously at the computer, which actually is not much different from what I used to do before. The difference is that now I'm helping more entrepreneurs and more companies and organizations of any size to move more online, to move more digital assets into digital. Because what's happened is that companies have been reluctant for a very long time, has been some of them moving slowly, some of them a little bit faster, and now everyone is forced to go digital, so there is no chance. And also with my partner, we set it up a system to help large organizations to move faster digital, basically to face the actual situation. And at the same time, I'm also almost finalizing my online training that I'm being planning and doing it for a very long time, and soon it's gonna be ready. So, as you can see around, there are a little bit of cars, there is a little bit of movement. It's not that it's completely locked down, there is also some people around, but obviously in this situation better be safe at home. Thank you so much, and the line is back to you.
That is awesome. I am so incredibly grateful for all the reporters that we are having. I mean, we have reporters in Dubai, we have reporters in the Netherlands, we have reporters in Colorado, in Atlanta, in Singapore, in Australia. It is just an absolutely fantastic experience just to have everybody actually letting us know what is going on right now in their town. I believe very strongly that there's going to be two very important things that you need to do and one specific word. Right now, the most important thing that you need to take into consideration is the reinvention. I think reinvention is going to be absolutely critical. And if you are not ready to reinvent yourself, let me just show you what is exactly what I mean with reinvention. So for me, the word that we need to talk about right now is pivot. And what is a pivot? It's something that you're going into one direction and then you're going to take into another direction. And this is exactly what we see on this. We have been going on one rail and suddenly we were derailed go into a complete different direction. So let me just share with you how Dave and I have been working on this. When we started this show really without knowing exactly what we were going to do. We said, you know what? I think our duty is to be able to serve the community, to give the community, real news and encouraging news and support and everything that we have been doing for the past 15, 16 days. And that was just the way that we thought about doing this this show. Then, and that was the important thing. So you just need to get started. Then little by little, we started adding several elements. We started adding, let's put some videos here. Now let's start doing these other things here. And we have been really growing the concept of this show until what it is right now. And I'm sure that it's going to continue to evolve. But yesterday, I had, for me, the biggest breakthrough. And that was through the help of Dave. And let me just explain to you what I mean with this. You see, at the beginning, we said, we want to go for the entire public, for anybody that wants to watch this information. And what I thought it was super interesting yesterday was that Dave, with a little bit of help of myself, he created specifically who the target market for this website was going to be. We have now put this whole series on podcast. You can just go and listen to all the episodes in bit.ly toilet paper podcasts. But that's not exactly the point what I want to share with you. We were deciding, who's this show going to be? Who's going to be for? And then he said to me, how about if we just bring it for speakers or business owners? And then we started working on it. And right now, look at the accuracy. This show is mainly for unemployed speakers, worried business owners, disconnected SMEs, and possible event managers who at the moment cannot even organize a 2-ticket raffle. So that is incredibly accurate. Now we know exactly who would like to help with this videos, with this program that we are doing, with this podcast that we're also doing. So previously we started with the whole group. Now we are actually refining our message, and we want to appeal to that specific target market. And now the second thing is, what do we do? What do we actually do here? We energize you, connect with you, entertain you, and help you reinvent your business for the past coronavirus economy. And this is the way that we are doing it. I mean, in the past, we have been doing events helping speakers brand themselves. And Dave has been teaching a lot of people on how to become public speakers. Right now, public speakers are, as we are seeing there, most of them are unemployed, including me and Dave. I mean, of course, we have to reinvent ourselves. And this is the way that we are actually doing it. We have specific clarity of message of who is this going to go for, and what is exactly what we're doing. So the first point that you need to care on trying to reinvent yourself is try to refine your message. Who's going to be specifically the people that you're going to be helping with, because that is going to be absolutely critical for when you want to reinvent yourself and also to pivot, because those are the specific things that you need to do.
And I was just going to say that what you mentioned there about knowing our target market is very important, because whenever I talk to businesses and I say about, who is it you want to be working with, they always say anybody who, and they just have no clue how to narrow it right down with focus as to the people that you really want to do business with. If you're really throwing it out to anybody who needs something like blah, 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 then you're going to guarantee that nobody's going to come to you, because your marketing will not be specific enough to get people who you really want to think that you're a specialist enough for them to want to pay for it. So it's very important to know who you are. Okay, I was talking before about the life post-corona. Should I do that now? Are you still with us, Ernesto? You've sort of gone now.
Absolutely, go for it.
Okay, so life post-corona. There's a couple of things I want to mention. I'll go through rapid fire because I know the show's going on for a while. First of all, hugs will mean something, because right now nobody's hugging everybody. They're staying at least 6 foot away from people unless it's your immediate family. I think that right now, if you're doing some kind of a sign like that, if I can do that's a Star Trek sign, or covering your heart, or salam, and all these kind of things are ways of saying a greeting. But I think when you give a proper bro hug and you really look out for your relationship with somebody, it will mean more than it's ever meant before, because it means that you trust somebody enough to break the risk of a virus by connecting with them. Shaking hands will be the same thing. It'll take a while, I think, before people are willing to do that. Then you got to look for the fact that another thing is life outside. People will be going outside eventually, but I think what we'll also start doing is going camping and just enjoying the trees and the parks. And there'll be a lot more business related to actually going outside and enjoying outside all the things that we took for granted. Working from home will be another thing. A lot of people like myself are used to it anyway, but there'll be a lot more people going, you know what? Why would I go to work? Why would I go into an office with a lot of people I don't like, run a risk of a virus when I can work from home? So I think what will happen is what happens in a lot of countries, which is you can declare to work from home more often, and maybe you go in for meetings, but might not even go in for meetings. If people are happy with this being your normal attire, then when you do get up and you do go to work effectively, as long as you're there on time, people won't mind. So I think a lot more people will stay at home, and a lot more people will decide that they'll have a digital makeover of their business to make sure that we don't have to have actual premises and offices. Now, that's going to make a big impact on the real estate industry, but I think that maybe it will be better for people as well. Okay, washing hands and wearing masks. I don't think wearing masks will disappear, despite the fact that people are reluctant to wear them. I think washing hands is something that's been long overdue, and people's cleanliness maybe needed a bit of a wake-up call. So that's something that's going to be there afterwards. I think salaries without bonuses. A lot of people are expected to get salaries regardless because they've turned up for work. I mean, certainly here in the UAE, I'm hearing all sorts of stories about people whose salary is cut by 50%, people whose salary is cut by down to 25%. Certainly the airline crew who are not flying are still being paid, but paid a fraction of what they had before. I've got the schools knocking on the doors saying, where's our new school fees? We want you to pay the same amount by tomorrow. And I think that it's going to change the way that people consider how salaries work. I also think a knock-on effect of that will be that people will appreciate money better, and will also appreciate the lack of money better. and realize you don't need to dress and spend a fortune on the very best stuff. You just need to be able to live and eat and pay the bills and survive. I think that financially people will suffer. I think that anybody who hadn't created a buffer before and put some money away and was just living from month to month is really finding it brutal here. I don't mean it to be horrible to anybody. Credit cards right now are probably the way that people are staying afloat. And nobody felt that they had to put money to one side for a rainy day until now. And it kind of wakes up most people about that. I think in business, you'll find a lot more side hustles. A lot of people will start their own business as a freelancer or something that they got planned that they wanted to work on forever. And they've never got around to it. I think the time that they have here, the spare time they have here, especially if they lose their job or they've got it narrowed down, will make people start doing the jobs they've always wanted to do. So there'll be a lot more satisfaction in work as well. I think by the time we come out the other side of the virus, new skills will be a natural. There'll be people who've learned new languages, people who've learned to play guitar. I've got an unused guitar downstairs. I've got these 2 books by Oasis and Coldplay that haven't opened up. Easy to play, pling, pling, pling. And I might well start doing that as well. Education and homeschooling is going to be very different. I think a lot more people will consider doing homeschooling than they've ever done before because they have no choice right now. The kids are learning at home and then they realize the economics are actually quite easy. And then if you're not bothered about working from home and your kids can work from home, I think there'll be a real change in the way that the educational system works. When it did need a wake-up call for about 200 years, I'm sorry for in education, but you know I'm talking about it because it's true. I think there'll be a recession regardless. I would love there for not to be a brutal one because if you take it back to 100 years ago when we did have the recession, it was horrible for many, many people. And I think it's already starting to feel like that now. Last few things, travel, hospitality, they will change. Many people will not travel and many people will not use restaurants in the same way as they used to. We'll just order in food and there'll be a lot better catering for that as well. People will want to stream more with 5G. That'll catch up very quickly. People want bigger freezers, bigger cupboards to make sure they do keep some food as a just in case. And the last thing is, I think that people will be more suspicious about what people say is the truth.
So thank you very much for your insights. I think you're very accurate. I'm very happy that you keep abreast on everything which is going on there. And we are running out of time. I would like to definitely recommend that you start thinking about these 2 specific things. One, you have to reinvent yourself because the way that we saw life in the past, pre-coronavirus, is going to be very different that we will see the world right now, and you have to find out ways in how to pivot. So with that, I would like to say goodbye. Please make sure to watch us tomorrow at noon Central Daylight Time in the United States, 9 o'clock Dubai time. And once again, please make sure that you go into our group, which is bit.ly, Never Alone Tribe, and you can follow us in whatever you think on the show. You can either do #Toilet Paper Diaries or Never Alone Tribe.